If you're a fan of horror films, you may think you have the concept of mummies all wrapped up. A new exhibit at the Houston Museum of Natural Science will make you rethink all your assumptions.
So this exhibit brings together a collection of mummies that are from different parts of the world, as the name implies. And so what people should know coming in is it's not just an Egyptian mummy. And so when people think mummies, they think Egyptian. I'm going to see Egyptian mummies. And we do have some of that, but we also have a vast variety of mummies from crypts, from different parts of the world, preserved different ways. And so a lot of the mummies we have here are naturally preserved. And so they're preserved by chance versus the Egyptian mummification, which was meant to happen, right? And so you're going to get that variety. And so you're going to see then individuals from different parts of the world that just by chance got preserved. And because of that, we can collect a little bit more information about them to learn a little bit more about where they came from, their culture, and potentially pathology they were living with at that point in time.
The study of mummies has a history in and of itself, one that combines the advance of both science and ethics.
Early mummy research started when Napoleon moved into Egypt and started discovering mummies. And so initial research was, well, let's unwrap them and see how they were put together. Let's look at the individual. Let's do analysis of internal anatomy and what are we looking at. In the process of that, a lot of mummies were destroyed. And the problem with that is if you look at culturally, Egyptians believe when you preserve that body, it's preserved and meant to be used in the afterlife. So essentially, if you destroy that body, it's destroying the body for the person in the afterlife. So culturally, it's insensitive to destroy these bodies. New techniques such as medical imaging, such as computer tomography or CT scanning, is being used more and more and more now because you can get access to it really easily. And it's getting to the point where it's really detailed. And so we can then produce virtual models or virtual anatomy of the same things we would see just doing a standard autopsy without destroying the body and conserving it, which is important because like the Summersdorf mummies, we know the descendants, we know the ancestors, and those descendants actually have lended these bodies to the exhibit so we can learn more about them. And the request is, we want them back, we want them in good condition, and so that to respect the family, to respect the individual himself, is to then do the research in a way that we're not causing destruction to the body.
Mummies, by their very nature, provide unique insights into human history.
When you find a skeleton, you do know something about that individual, but when you have the soft tissue, now you have a lot more that you can pull from that body. For example, if there's materials in the gut, we can take that material out and say, okay, this person was eating such and such. For example, the bog body we have in this exhibit, we can see that she was eating grains and berries, which tells us approximately when she died during the year. So if she's eating berries, right, she died approximately during the summer. So it gives us that timeline of when she approximately died. We also can see if there are traumas, such as cut marks, stabs, wounds, and so maybe we can determine this individual was killed versus died naturally. Internally, we can see if there are any kind of anomaly anatomically, like pathologies that are present that we can then lead us to think, okay, they were dealing with this type of disease in this particular area. The Vatch mummies are even more unique because 80% of the Vatch mummies, we have 3 in this exhibit, but 80% of the Vatch mummies are found in Vatch, Hungary, died of tuberculosis. And so we know this because of church records, which is great. So now we know that this disease was affecting this community, but they can now go in and sample some of this tuberculosis from the lungs, and we can look at strains of this TB from the 1800s to now, which is very important because now we can see how have these strains changed over time, and why have they changed, and how does that affect how we approach protecting ourselves against TB in the future. So now these mummies actually, because of that soft tissue preservation, has affected how we approach modern medicine, which is very important.
For more information on mummies of the world, visit the museum's website at www.hmns.org. For Day Trips, I'm Stacee Hawkins.